fingertips, to understand that everything that you are doing now, all the decisions that you're making now, is preparing you to be the leaders for tomorrow. So all of your speakers for today are all prepared to tell you about their journey and their life lessons and what it's been important to them, and to share their insight and their wisdom with you so that you are excited about what you have for life beyond high school, that you are excited about your tomorrow, that you are excited about the role that you are going to play to change our society. The adults who are here designed this because we needed you guys to understand just how fabulous you are, just how important you are, and how your voices matter, and that there are adults in this world who care about what you have to say. So I'm hoping today that after you go to your workshops, I'm hoping that after you participate in our town hall discussion later on this afternoon, that you feel on fire, that you're ready to go back to your communities and make a difference, no matter how big or how small that is. Because you don't necessarily have to be a leader to be making a difference. You can make a difference in how you talk to your friends. You can make a difference in how you are at your school. You can make a difference in a small way at your church. You can make a difference wherever you are. But if you show up and you are open and you're ready, then you are ready to be a leader and make a difference. And so we gave you these Breakthrough Leader t-shirts to remind you of who you are. Even if you have days where you forget, you're a breakthrough leader. You're a leader that's on the cusp of making a difference. You're a leader that's going to be the change that our society needs. Because you guys know what works and what doesn't work. The adults don't necessarily know exactly what we're doing all the time. But we need your voices and we need your ideas. And so I hope today, as you go through your workshops, that you get the opportunity to meet new friends. I hope you get the chance to connect. I hope that your minds are open just a little bit so you can learn, even if it's just one thing today that you can take back. And I hope that you leave inspired and empowered to make a difference in the communities in which you live. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Welcome to Coatesville for our crew that may be from somewhere else. Thank you so much again for coming and for being here. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to our next entertainer to get y'all hyped for the day. And then after that, you will hear from our speaker, who has some amazing words of wisdom to share with you. And then we'll set you off onto your workshops. And you'll have 2 workshops. I will make this announcement at the end, but your wristbands have your workshops on them. You have sheets in your bags that have a list of all of the workshops with a map on the back that has details with room locations. There will also be volunteers, so if you see anyone, adults, in red, they are the people who should know what's going on. So go to them if you need help, if you need to find anything. We will also be out in the hallways to direct traffic towards the end, and then after your 2 workshops, we will have lunch. So that's what you have to look forward to for the day. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much for caring enough.
Hello. Hello. Yes, good morning. Now, on behalf of all of the dry diapers everywhere, I'd like to accept this award, and I'm very thankful. You know, it took a long time to get here. Where's my award, by the way? No award? What day is today? What's today's date?
November 12th.
Saturday, November. Oh, that was next week. That's right. I'm sorry. So, okay, so what we doing today? What's this here? What's going on here? Youth Conference. Leadership. Oh, yeah. There's a youth my glasses, I don't have my glasses and my hearing aid and all that stuff, but I don't need that. Yeah, youth, okay, yeah, well, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, y'all still sleeping. Now I don't got my hearing aid in. I said, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, they're the youth. Oh, man, I got a little something for y'all. You see, y'all, man, I just came. Yeah, now, I like to dance. I'm gonna show y'all a couple of dances, see what y'all know about dances. You know what I mean? Okay, all right, so what about this dance right here? Y'all know what this is? Huh?
That's stanky leg.
That's the mashed potato! What about this one right here? You know about this one right here? Huh?
Chicken.
The funky chicken! Yeah, okay. What about this one here? What y'all, What's that? What's that? No, that's the, I smell something. No, okay, all right. Hey, I tell you what, I got this ringtone on my phone. That'll get y'all. Let me hit my ringtone right quick, a little something. Y'all know a little something like that one there? Yeah, I used to do this one back in the, back in the day, Right?
Walking in this party.
Oh. I'm gonna do a little talking because I can't do too much of that dance and stuff. So, all right, the youth leaders, yeah. Let me see. I got a story.
No story time.
Story time?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I got a little story for y'all. I try to keep in shape. I go for walks 3-4 times a day. That's how I keep my diaper dry, because I got to keep the abdomen muscles working, everything like that, Right on. Okay, so on one of my walks in the morning, I saw this caterpillar in a cocoon state on its way to becoming a butterfly. You know how I love nature, it's a beautiful thing, it keeps me alive, it keeps me smiling and stuff. So I saw it, and it was a little tiny pinhole, and it was, I saw it was trying to come out and stuff, coming out. So I went for my walk, I came home, I scrambled some eggs and stuff, pancakes and stuff, bam, because I like to eat it, and I chef it up. So boom. So later on that afternoon, I went for another walk, checking things out, I have the glasses then, so I was really able to see stuff. Then right now, I gotta do this and look at you. Okay, that's a nice smile, So in the afternoon, I have my glasses, and I look, boom, 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 boom. I see the cocoon. Still a little hole, and I see he's struggling there. I'm like, man, he's struggling to get out of here. Yeah, well, okay, So I went home, it's lunchtime now, so I went and I chefed it up. Boom, because I know how he does that. I chefed it up. So boom. Later on that evening, I go for my final walk for the day, and I look for the cocoon. I'm like, by this time, it should be out. Right? It should be out. It was like struggling, it was a little hole, it was moving, it was there, it was ready to come out. So I look, and it's still in there. The caterpillar was still in the cocoon. I couldn't believe it. I went home, I chefed it up. I didn't have as much enthusiasm this time, I'm chefing, I'm cooking. Went to bed. All night I'm twisted, I'm turning, I'm having nightmares. I'm feeling like I'm in a cocoon, and I'm trapped, and I'm trying to bust out. Woke up first thing that morning, I got dressed. I ran to that cocoon. I know by now that butterfly has to be out and that butterfly has to be free. Guess what? still in there. Still in the cocoon. I said, you know what? I can't have this. So I ran home, got my little scissors. Yeah, and I went back, and I said, I'm gonna free you, butterfly. The butterfly wants to fly. I want to see the butterfly fly. I said, I'm gonna free the butterfly. I saw it. Took out my little scissors. And I had my glasses on, so I was careful. Cut. Open the cocoon. And there was a nice little butterfly. He had a nice tummy just like mine. Cute little wings. And he just dropped right to the ground. I was excited at first, but then I'm like, fly, butterfly, fly. I'm sorry, I get a little emotional. I just pulled myself together here.
Sir.
Fly, butterfly, fly. The butterfly couldn't fly. See, what had happened was, all that time that the butterfly was trying to get through that hole, the process is, it takes all that tummy from being a caterpillar, and it pushes it out into being its wings, from working hard, and spreading its wings and breaking through that cocoon itself. And I stopped that process. It taught me a lesson. And I thought the story was good because, I see a great deal of leaders in here. And it's important that you work hard, spread your wings, and break through that cocoon. There's a theater right here in Coatesville. About 25 years ago, it was said that you can't have a theater in Coatesville. It's not conducive to a theater environment. People aren't going to go. They either want to do the movies or, they want to go to social clubs and stuff like that. They're not really going to go to the theater. That was 25 years ago, and the theater is still here in Coatesville. Don't let anybody tell you or put a cap on you or cut you open with the scissors. Do your work, break through, and become the leaders that you are. Okay? Now, enough of that story time stuff. How much time do I have? How you doing? Hey, was you waving to me?
5 minutes.
Oh, that's a 5 minutes. Okay, I don't have my glasses on. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. Okay, let me get that ringtone right quick. I need some volunteers because, I need some volunteers because, Come on up. I like that whole crew right there. Come on up. Let's go on the stage. Either side. Come on the stage. Yeah. Go on the stage. All right, now. What's that? Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? All right, good morning. My man! Oh, good morning, buddy. Yeah. Y'all know how to do this dance? Because I don't really know how to do this. I gotta show you. Okay. Repeat after me. I am a breakthrough leader. I am a breakthrough leader. Now, for this last time, I need you to really put it out there. I need you to really shout. I need you to get it out there, okay? 1, 2, 3, go! Beautiful. All right. Jared, where's Jared? Jared Elson, come on. He's going to introduce our next speaker. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? No. No? Everybody can hear me now? No. All right, cool. Good morning. Thanks everybody for coming out today. It's good to see a lot of young faces. My name is Jared. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a junior here at Coatesville, and I'll be introducing our speaker today. So the gentleman that we have here speaking today has come here all the way from California. He's a professor, I believe, at Southern California University, and he does research there on demographics, I believe. He came yesterday to one of our events. It was a breakfast for the event today, but for all the adults. And he gave a very mesmerizing speech, and he definitely has something great for us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Pastor Manuel Pastor.
Thanks. It's really, boy, that's loud, huh? Really good to be with you. I must admit, though, that following an act like that is a little bit hard. I remember once I was going to give a speech, but before I gave the speech, it was a bunch of people learning about the First Iraq War. They said, before you get up there, we've got a special guest. And they brought up Ed Asner, who was an actor, and he wound up doing this emotional scene, and everyone's crying, and I was thinking, how am I going to follow that? And they said, but we've got somebody before you get up, and it turned out it was Maxine Waters, a fiery African-American congresswoman from South Los Angeles who had just been elected. She gave up and got up and gave a great speech. And then when she was done, I was supposed to get up there, but before I got up there, she said, I have a special guest, Jesse Jackson. Anybody know who Jesse Jackson is? Older folks do. Fiery preacher, and I have to follow that. But I'm following this, and I want to talk with you for just a little while about what it means to be a breakthrough leader. And to be a breakthrough leader, I think it's really critical to understand both of those two words, breaking through and what it means to be a leader. The breaking through, one thing that's really important for all of us to be thinking about is where the country is right now and where the country is heading. Jared's right. I'm a demographer. I study what the country's going to look like in the future. And the country's going to look like this audience. That is, by the year 2043, 2044, when you all will be young adults, the majority of people in the United States will be people of color, African Americans, Latinos, Asians. It'll be a much more diverse country. It may not feel like that right now, particularly in the wake of this election. But sometimes before we break through, things break down. Yes. Sometimes before we break through, things break down. And that's a lot of what's going on in the United States right now. The country's breaking apart, it's breaking down. There's fear of where we're headed. There's fear of where we're headed demographically. There's fear of where we're headed economically. There's insecurity that's out there. And one of the really important things to do is to help people get through this period. We, as adults, have a responsibility to help you get through this period. If you've been listening to the news, you know, on the night that the election was resolved, as I was sitting there with my 30-year-old son, who is a musician, whose backup career is as an actor, which is not necessarily the economic strategy I suggest for young people, but he's pursuing his dreams. I hit my hand on his shoulder and said, wow, there goes your health care. Because that's maybe what happens. The next day when I went to work, what I realized was that about a third of the people who work for me have relatives who are undocumented, and they're scared about what's going to happen. A lot of people are fearful right now in this country about where we're headed and about some of the impulses that got revealed through this election. We're breaking down. We need you to break through. Now, I want to talk a little bit, though, about what it means to break through with messages of love, of compassion, of justice, and what it is that young people have done, what it is that young people can do, and what I hope you'll sort of take away from these few words today. I think it's important for you to understand that just about everything we take for granted right now in terms of the rights we enjoy really come from struggles of young people. When you think about the civil rights movement, the people who got the sort of big prizes and big stages were people like Martin Luther King. They were a little bit older. They were the big leaders. But when you understand and study the civil rights movement, what you understand is that it's young people who wound up sitting in at lunch counters. It's young people who wound up riding the freedom buses through the South. It's young people who put their lives on the line that actually changed the country, changed the narrative, and brought us the civil rights movement that so many of us take for granted today. When you think about, in my era, the Vietnam War and the way in which that war was ended, it was not through any particular wisdom of older people. I'm old now, so I can definitely verify that our wisdom seems to dissipate with our age. But it was young people who challenged the machine that was producing that war, challenged the leaders that were producing that war, and really forced the United States to adopt a different path. And how many of you kind of care about the environment, really want to make sure that the planet is protected? Okay. That was young people as well, who brought things like Earth Day, so we can celebrate the Earth, that brought up concerns around the planet, and that have made really this concern about all of us being green so central. So it's young people who change the world, and it's young people who are changing the world right now. When you think about the way in which Washington and our political leaders are locked up around immigration and unable to do much about it, and yet the only thing that's happened in the last 3 or 4 years around immigration was the thing called Deferred Action for Childhood Adjustments, DACA, which meant that a lot of undocumented young people could stay in this country. That was brought by a youth movement. In fact, it was brought by a group that called themselves Dreamers, undocumented youth who grew up in this country, who draped themselves in the American dream, who challenged their elders, not only in Washington, but in the immigrant rights movement, to say that we needed to make a change and give them the right to be able to stay here and study and work legally. It was young people. If you look on the streets right now with the Black Lives Matter movement, that movement about how to forge better police-community relations, how to reduce violence, how to make it much more safe for young people to be on the street, that's brought to us not by our elders, who thought it probably was a bad idea. It was brought to us by young people who stood up and challenged what had happened to Trayvon Martin, what had happened in Ferguson to Michael Brown, and really began to put their lives on the line, their voices in the street, to really challenge things. If you think about what's going on LGBT rights, lesbian, gay, bi, transgender rights, that's a lot of young people really challenging the status quo. Do you see how important young people are right now?
Yes.
Do you feel how important you are? Do you know that you can change the world? I hope you do. Because it's not just changing the world in these big ways I'm talking about. It's not just, protesting the police, changing immigration, fighting for rights for LGBT folks. I come from California. And in California, a remarkable thing has happened in the last couple of years. There was a big foundation, and they decided to put a lot of money into communities for communities to change things around health. And when they talked to young people in those communities, they found out something interesting. When you think about health and what would improve health in your community, what sort of things come up for you as the most important things? What would you like to see changed for there to be more healthy communities in Coatesville? What do you think is important? Yeah. More gardens, right? Yeah. Have more activities so people can play outside, right? What else? What would be important for health? Yeah. What's that? Solar panels, right? So we could actually have better and healthier electricity. Others of you, what would create a more healthy Coatesville? Yeah.
Affordable health care.
Affordable health care, so you could actually get health care, yeah.
Better management for our finances.
Better management for finances, really good. Maybe one more answer. What would bring health?
Fresher foods.
Fresher foods? Yeah, that's really important too. So a lot of those things came up. But you know what the young people in these communities came up with? They wanted schools to stop disciplining and kicking kids out of schools. Because they said that one thing that was happening was that people were disciplined too rapidly for misbehavior, or they were perceived as having an attitude when they didn't really have an attitude. Anybody ever look at you like that, say you got an attitude? But all you're doing is just looking, right? So these young people, decided that was the issue that they wanted to organize on. So they challenged all of the adults. They went to the school districts and they said, we want to change the school discipline policy so that people don't get kicked out so rapidly. We want to make sure that if somebody's going to be disciplined, and when you think about this, when they discipline you in school, what do? They take you out of school, right? That's like stupid, right? Because if you want somebody to learn and grow and know how to be in school, you got to keep them in school, right? You can't move them out, right? They said that's the wrong approach. So they changed the approach at the school district level, and then they went to the state of California, and they wrote 6 different laws about school discipline, and 5 of them passed and 4 of them were signed by the governor. So young people changed the way California does school discipline. So what do I think it means to lead and to be a breakthrough leader? And then I'll just leave you with a little bit of a story. So first step to being a breakthrough leader is wearing this t-shirt, right? Like you gotta wear the t-shirt. You're gonna notice that I got the black t-shirt, right? Not just because I more identify with the students than the volunteers, but because black just looked better with a black suit. Right? So look better. But I want to tell you what I think a good leader is. And I want to tell you, I don't know if we've got good leaders right now. So first thing so when you think of what makes for a good leader, what things come up for you? What's a good leader? What qualities does a good leader have? Being honest, right? Having integrity. Yeah. Listening to your teammates. Really, really critical. Yes. Being respectful of yourself, right? And also of other people. Jared?
Being reliable.
Being reliable, trustworthy what?
Being proactive.
Being proactive, that's really important. Not just reacting to what people are saying, but proposing things, yeah.
Flexibility.
Flexibility, say another word about that.
Just being able to, it's kind of hard to explain. Bend the rules or something like that, just like if something goes on, you just have to work with it.
Right, being changing when the environment changes, yeah.
Doing things that not only benefit yourself, but everyone else.
Doing things that don't just benefit yourself, but everyone else. By the way, that's a little bit about, who said honesty? Yeah, so honesty is how you behave when nobody's looking. right? How do you behave when nobody's looking? What else makes for a good leader? Any good leaders back there? Yes.
Being your own person.
Being your own person, yeah. Making good choices, yeah.
Maintaining calm, stressful situations.
Being calm, right? That's really important. So let me tell you one last comment. You had your hand up right here.
They don't gossip.
What's that?
They don't gossip.
You know, that's a really important point. They don't gossip. One of the things I think that's critical, and I looked up about that, is it's really important, if you got something to say it to someone's face, not behind their back. Don't take it out someplace and be talking about folks, right? Talk to folks, right? I think I saw a hand back there. One last person. Yeah. Yeah, he. Oh, yeah. That's a being yourself. And was there somebody back there that didn't speak? Okay. So let me say what I think are the three things, and you actually put them in, two of them in one sentence. So a good leader listens and follows, right? To be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And here's one good rule for this. If you're talking, you're not listening. So we often identify someone who's a good leader with someone who's talking all the time. They're not necessarily listening. Second, a good leader thinks of the health of the team and not just of themselves. You've got a problem when you got a lot of stars, but you got no constellation. Because what counts is the constellation, how things come together. And you said it, but a good leader sets an example by being honest, by being forthright, by being responsible, by being reliable. So I just want to end and see if there's some questions by saying that there's hard times ahead. Like I said, breakthroughs happen when there's breakdowns. Civil rights movement happened as Jim Crow broke down. The environmental movement happened because the threats to the earth were so clear. The LGBT movement happened because the denial of people's humanity was just so apparent. The immigrant movement has taken off because it's so clear that immigration system is broken. So there's hard times ahead, and there'll be a challenge for you to lead through those hard times. But I want you to remember this. And for those of you who were there yesterday, to sound familiar, I know that you're probably, as I mentioned yesterday, you're looking at me and you're saying, who is this guy? He's from California. He's got a suit on, right? Some fancy professor, right? What does he know about me? And with most kids like you, I like to say I know you because I am you. I grew up in Los Angeles. My dad was undocumented. He got documented during World War II when he was given a choice, literally, between being deported or joining the U.S. Army. And he had my cousin Carlitos flip a coin. And that's how he decided to stay in the United States and how he ended up getting born in the U.S. We were poor. My dad was a janitor. He eventually went to community college, became a electrician, and when he did that, we went from being poor to being working class, which basically just meant there was actually food in the refrigerator. And some of you may know what that's like too, when you open the door and you just shut it, right? Because there wasn't nothing there that morning, right? And I went to public schools. I got a chance to go to the university because of affirmative action, to take a chance on a kid like me that didn't fit the typical profile at that time. I know you. I am you. And I know that in order to get through that, you need some adults that will help you out. And you got some adults here that love you, and you need yourself to not let yourself get knocked down. When I was in high school, I was not tracked to go to college. In fact, I was kind of shunted into that group of kids that were doing drugs and in all the remedial classes because it wasn't felt I would get there. When I went to the university, I was not tracked to go to graduate school. I was tracked to just graduate. In fact, when I was about to graduate and go to graduate school, I wanted to get a scholarship to go. The university didn't nominate me for that scholarship. I went to the head of the university. I encourage you to do this. And I said, I think you're wrong. And got them to nominate me. I got the scholarship and I went to graduate school. When I was in graduate school, I was supposed to go and teach at a big research university. Now I'm there and I have a grad chair. I'm a fancy-ass professor. So you need some resilience. You need to stick to it. You need to know something that has been really drilled into us recently by the nation's new poet laureate, and someone I think you'll be much more familiar with than the audience was yesterday, Kendrick Lamar. Now, who's heard of Kendrick Lamar? So, a lot more hands than with those adults yesterday, right? They scratched their head going, Frank Sinatra? So you know that song, in which Kendrick, and I would play it for you, but it had a couple words in there that might scare the hell. In which Kendrick says, what do you want from me and my scars? Everybody lacked confidence, everybody lacked confidence. How many times our potential was anonymous? How many times the city making me promises? So I promised this, I love myself. If you want to be a breakthrough leader, you have to be able to reach out to others. You have to have a platform so that which you can succeed in adults who will mentor, but you have to remember what Kendrick Lamar said and repeat it. I love myself. Say it.
I love myself. Say that.
Say it.
I love myself.
Say it.
I love myself.
I am a breakthrough leader.
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 I love myself.
I love myself.
Thank you.
So how you feeling so far? Right? You excited? Like a breakthrough leader. Like a breakthrough leader, right? Well, thank you for being an amazing audience so far this morning. And I hope you take that same openness into your workshops. We have some amazing people who are here to share their journey with you and hopefully to continue to get you hyped, excited, ready for your life, for today, and hopefully open to the possibility that this is just the beginning. And hopefully this will be the beginning of you leaving here and being excited and ready for your journey. So,
Alright, good morning everybody. If I can just have everyone's attention, that would be great. Before we get started, I got a couple ground rules for everyone. But I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Samuel Brown. I'm 22 years old and I'm a senior at Milledgeville University. I study communications with a concentration in public relations. And I'm a Coatesville area high school graduate. So, just to start off, free ground rules. This is an interactive conversation. I don't want to feel like y'all in the classroom because I know how it feels to be in the classroom. I hate class. Just to let y'all know, I'm not really a fan of it. But remember, education is key. But also, be open-minded, guys. I want y'all to understand that what I'm trying to tell y'all is something that, like, I went through and that a lot of youth go through. So I just want y'all to understand that what I'm expressing to y'all is something that y'all can utilize in your everyday lives. And lastly, questions are allowed. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to, like no question is a dumb question. I will give a lot of time at the beginning, middle, and end. Some questions I need y'all responsive and this is interactive as possible. So I'm going to introduce the topic. The topic is believing in the power of belief, and this is a quote by P. Diddy. Y'all know who P. Diddy is? Yes.
He's a guy.
Alright, cool. So I'm not that old. And to better explain the topic, I'm going to show y'all a video, and then we can discuss it some more. How many of y'all have seen this movie?
Are you lost?
I have.
What I gotta play? Mr. Cruz, you do not want to know the answer to that question. Now, as I was saying, as a team, we shot 56% from the line. From now on, before you leave my gym, you must pay an exit price of 50 made free throws before you can go. That's everybody.
That's a lot of free throws.
Okay, Mr. Cruz. Before you can play on this team, you owe me 2,500 push-ups and 1,000 suicides.
Damn.
Oh, and they must be completed by Friday.
He ain't finishing that by Friday.
Today's flavor, offense.
Now we're talking.
Now I have a sister. Her name is Linda. Linda is smart. She's political. Well, actually, she's radical. Linda's got a big afro. Linda is our pick and roll offense. Before we get into that, let's warm up. Give me a layup line. Let's go. Battle.
I got him right here. I'm open. I'm out. I'm outside. Come on. Let's get it. They call out them picks. Yeah. All right. D up. Move up.
Give up, Mr. Cruz. Go home. You know your task is impossible before Friday, right? Move! Work it!
Keep moving.
Run it back! Clyde. Mr. Cruz, I'm impressed with what you've done, but you came up short. You owe me 80 suicides and 500 push-ups. Please leave my gym.
I'll do push-ups for him. You said we're a team. One person struggles and we all struggle. One player triumphs, we all triumph, right?
Alright guys, quick reactions, if I can get a few reactions to that video. How does that video relate to the topic, believing in the power of belief? What's your name?
Juan.
Juan? My man. Alright.
He believed that he could do it by Friday, and when he believed it, he actually got some help doing it, so he's gonna complete it.
So just believing in yourself, that's good. That's one key point. Try to get somebody else. Anybody else? Alright, cool. So just a couple of takeaways from the video. One, like Juan said, the ability to envision that you can complete a task in your mind, or the ability to become a person that you wanted to be. He wanted to get back on the team. He wanted to play basketball again. So he envisioned that in his mind, and the task was he had to complete a certain amount of push-ups, suicides, etc. Also, in the process of believing in yourself, you tend to find people that also believe in you.
Yes.
And when you find people that also believe in you, then as a collective unit, you can become that person because you have cheerleaders in your life. You have people in your corner that's rooting for you. So the 3 takeaways that I want y'all to get, if anything, because I know these presentations can be long, but I try to make it as sweet as possible, but also informative. 3 takeaways is believing in the power of belief, like the topic I mentioned. You have to believe it before anyone else can. As you saw in the video, Cruz believed that he could complete a task, and before his teammates believed it, and once his teammates saw that he wanted to accomplish that task, they started fighting with him because they understood that he had a vision that they wanted to support. And remember, third point, part 1 of 2, is every decision counts. From this day forward, when y'all walk out of this classroom, I want y'all to understand that every decision that y'all makes counts. Every time y'all decide not to study for an exam counts. Every time that you decide to stay up all night and play 2K or Call of Duty, knowing that you got an 8 a.m. exam counts. I mean, I did that probably last week. I stayed up, played 2K all night, had an 8 a.m. exam. It was horrible. But I just want y'all to understand the other part is you're a driver in your life. You're the driver on this road we call life. And I want to reiterate that because you have to understand you have an influence on every decision that you make, everything that happens in your life. You have some form of influence in it. Other people may have to say so, but you have the ability to say yes, you have the ability to say no, you have the ability to take action, and you have the ability not to take action. And that all stems from you and what you want out of life. So you can never blame someone for a situation that you're in because you had an influence in that situation.
We'll move forward. In 1901, there was a young boy who grew up in Chicago. He was born in Chicago, and he had aspirations of being an artist. He had aspirations, he had a skill, he had a God-given talent and ability to draw. As he progressed in life, in 1913, he moved forward in his life and tried to capture his dreams and endeavors in Chicago. And in 1919, he moved forward during the First World War and was an ambulance driver for the Red Cross. As he came out of that and transitioned to that, he attended the Academy of Arts in Chicago, where he was able to express his ability to draw, express his individuality and imagination with a pen, pencil, and paper. As he moved forward and the First World War ended in 1919, he engaged in a job and was hired as a commercial artist, moving forward, doing the likes of cartoonist, and had aspirations to work for the local newspaper. That local newspaper was a dream and endeavor that he had, but he was unsuccessful as doing that. He got hired being a commercial artist, studying film and helping out in film and animation. He then moved forward because his name began to grow, his endeavors began to grow, and he began to be a successful individual. He began to create short stories. He began to have animations that have changed the 20th century and resonate in this generation and from generations on until. He had a brother. His brother's name was Roy. As Roy helped him and focused on him, in 1955, they opened up their first theme park in California. For they were in California and moved to California to pursue their dreams and ambitions. In California, they opened up the first theme park. He has went on, and he went on in his time and in his life to animate characters and do the voices of characters. And he was the voice of one of the most popular characters who will we ever see and know, all the way up until 1955. In 1966, He unfortunately passed away, but he left a legacy, all through his God-given ability and talent and young entrepreneurship of starting his own business. His name was Walt Disney. Walt Disney has theme parks now in Florida, Hong Kong, Japan, California, and they resonate all over the world. He was the voice of the most popular animated character, Mickey Mouse, who will resonate from generation to generation, all through his own entrepreneurship. Today, you have entered into this class, this seminar, about young entrepreneurship. What is an entrepreneur? What is that? Does anybody know what an entrepreneur is? An entrepreneur is someone who organizes a business venture and assumes a certain risk. Someone who organizes a business venture and assumes a certain risk. Everything you do in life, everything you engage in, you will assume a certain risk. Business is one of them. You all have God-given talents. You all have God-given abilities. There are some characteristics that you must possess in being a young entrepreneur. We've established what an entrepreneur is. There are some qualities and characteristics that you must possess as a young entrepreneur. One of those characteristics is drive. You have to have drive. Drive is a key important thing because it creates character and ambition to move you through your endeavors. Not only do you need to have drive, but you have to have an open mind. You have to keep an open mind in everything you do. You have to have vision. You have to have an abundance of tolerance to be able to take risk. And you have to be able to abandon fear. You have to be able to abandon fear when you're engaging into your own business and moving forward. One of the things that I like to share with young people a lot is in this too, and one of the most important characteristics you must have is you must be a good problem solver. When you become a good problem solver, you become a good decision maker. As you become a good decision maker, you can make better decisions on your endeavors in business and even out through life on all the things that you do. With making good decisions, with who you be with, who you hang around, where you associate your time, what you devote your energy to. So all these things are important. They are extremely important for entrepreneurship, owning your own business, and moving forward in that.
Can anyone think of other avenues where you can get money? Banks? Where? Fundraising. All right. So in order to get money, you have to have two things. You have to have a business plan. Anybody know what a business plan is? Yeah.
It's sort of like an organization of your plan of how you're going to organize your business, how you're going to set up everything, how you're going to treat your employees, how you're going to get your product to the consumers.
Exactly. That's exactly right. One main focus that you want to do is with your business plan, plain and simple, it's your thoughts on your business written down on paper. Now, in order to get the money from the lenders, you have to have a pitch. So you have to be able to sell yourself. So we had you write down three things that you like to do and 3 things that you can do. You put that on paper, you present it to your lender, and you sell yourself. You really have to sell yourself to your lenders. And one way to sell yourself is you put things on paper. Now, I have a pitch that I use, that I will use, that I'm going to use. Very simple. Who I am, my plan to expand, the business that you want to provide. Mine happens to be a barbershop, but what I would like to do, I will. That's one thing that you always have to use too. You will. You always say you will. You have to speak things into existence. Barbershop, bookstore, and full body hygiene for men. You have to have your business plan, and your business plan pretty much is your introduction to who you are and what you want to do, and your marketing plan. That is what you're going to sell, what kind of services you will provide, how long you're going to stay open, and the most important thing for the lender is what you're going to do to uplift the community. Whenever you want to start a business and you want to get money from lenders, the most important thing is, well, what are you going to do for the community that I live in? How many people are you going to bring into my bank? So you always remember those things. Your business plan, your pitch, your business plan, your marketing, your pitch, you're selling yourself, and how you're going to help the community.
What will be one of your greatest success tools? What will be, ask yourself, what will be, this is the question that I had, what will be one of my greatest tools to success? And one of the greatest tools that you will have to success is networking. Networking is extremely important, even for seasoned entrepreneurs and first starting out entrepreneurs. You have to consistently network. Networking is a key factor. You have to involve yourself. You have to interact with different people. You have to join groups. You have to volunteer. These are things that you have to do. You have to get on social media. You have to ask people for referrals. You have to never turn down a meeting. You have to do those things. You have to network. Networking is key. Like I said, even for seasoned business people. To this day, myself, I still continuously network. Today, you are here, you are networking. There are things you like to do, there are dreams you have, there are ambitions that you have, there are hopes, there are inventions that you have. Network. Network is a key thing, and it is something that you will continuously do throughout this life. Not just with your business venture, but with everything.
One thing he said that he went to Votech. Well, we call it Votech. You guys call it Technical High School.
PCHS.
What is it called?
PCHS.
No, what is that's the acronym. What is it? Technical College High School? Okay. You have so many opportunities just going in that place. You have at least 20 different skills that you can take up. And I'm a big advocate for going to the trade school because you can get your life started while you're in trade school. You have people going to college right now that are going to graduate from college and they're going to be $100,000 in debt. And they're going to come out and they're not going to be able to get jobs that they went to school for. So now when they get out of college, now you have a hard time paying that fee back in the field that you signed up for. But what you do is you go to the Votech right now and you get your life started right now. It's very simple. You go to technical school, you start your business. Those people that come home from college with their college degree, you offer them a job. You help them pay back their debt. Over 60% of college graduates come home and they can't find a job in their field. I think that's a disgrace. That's horrible. So if you take your God-given, don't forget, we started this off with taking your God-given ability. It won't cost you nothing. All you do is be born. You wrote down 3 things that you like to do. You wrote 3 things that you can do. I'm pretty sure every last one of you can go home and think about a way to make money. You should be thinking about it right now if you wrote it down. So don't waste your time in school not doing nothing. You go get yourself a trade. Right now, in this room right here, I see 10 different trades. Somebody had to put that door in. That's a carpenter, a master carpenter. $75,000 a year. Somebody put those windows in. Somebody did this projector. It's an electrician. Outlets, electrician. Cabinets, carpenter. Running water, plumber. A master plumber. You got landscape. Landscape takes nothing. You get yourself a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and a rake. That's your own business. To hang a door, you need a drill, a tape measure, a level. Hang a door. That door right there takes about 2 hours to hang. All right, pay me $400. 2 hours of work, $400. Hang this projector. Run the wires through the ceiling. Somebody had to put the ceiling up. These desks that you're sitting at, the shoes that you have on, the shirt. Somebody was a seamstress or a seamster, or I don't know the word you use for a man that makes it, but somebody had to do it. Somebody had the talent to take a stitch and stitch this together and get paid for it. You have a designer. Everything is a trade. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Some of us wear glasses. This wristbands that you have on, somebody had to make them. You don't have to work for nobody. You can do it yourself. Just open up your minds. Just open up your minds.
So, you young ladies and gentlemen, you know my story, you know Mr. Saunders' story. I want to get to know a little bit about you for the few moments that we have left. I just want to talk and go around the room, and you all can volunteer at this time to just say some things that you like. We want to keep you motivated. We want to keep you positively encouraged. We want you to be a breakthrough leader. So,
I want you to understand that you have your own business right within inside your own self. You don't have to look for no one but inside yourself to make money, to feed your family. Go ahead, sir.
So you have some things written on a card, and I just want to hear some of the ideals that you have and some of the ambitions and aspirations that you have on your card, or some things you like to do. And the question was, what are some things you're good at and what are some things you like to do? And basically our main structure and foundation on that was you create your business through that, like Mr. Dolph Saunders said, through your God-given talent and abilities and gifts. So yes, young man, what is your name? Say your name, and then so I know who you are.
My name is Juan.
Juan? Okay, nice to meet you, Juan. Mr. Ricky.
I like to play video games, and stay good at investigating, and I like to watch cop shows.
Excellent. That's nice. I like that.
Forensic? Scientist? Yeah, you could be. It's something you like to do.
More of law.
Law enforcement?
Well, guess how you can be an entrepreneur and things you like to do and watch. A private investigator. Many times, even all over Hollywood, they're hired all the time. Private investigators. People need to know. People's family members come up missing. All types of things happen like that. And private investigators are hired. That's your own entity. That's your own business. as a private investigator. So think about
I
it.
got a question. One of the most famous private investigators on TV right now. Who is it?
I love that.
You gonna say Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the guy on Cheaters.
Oh.
He's an investigator, private investigator. I mean, see, this is how simple things are. We don't have to, it's not hard. It's simple. He took his private investigating skills and incorporated the television.
the lessons that you need in order for you to be leaders. Now, we have a question for you as adults. What do we as adults need to do to get out of your way for you to do what you need to do? So that's what this conversation is going to be about now. So we will give you opportunity to write your answers down on the paper that's in front of you. We'll give you instructions. We hope this is an opportunity for you to have some conversation that will let us adults know what we need to do to be better supporters for what y'all need to do. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend Megan, who's going to give you your instructions and talk a little bit about what we need you to do now. Again, we need you to be honest. We need you to write clearly on the papers, because this information that you give to us will help us help other youth organizations start to do what we need to do as adults to get out of your way so that y'all can do what you need to do. Is that a plan? Think we can rock this out for the next 40 minutes? It's going to fly by. Don't let it fly by. You got this. Y'all are going to be good. So is everybody in the seat in your paper? Ladies and gentlemen, if you are talking, you are not listening. So there will be adults around at each of the tables just to make sure that you guys are continuing to understand the questions that should be asked. If you have a color marker that will not show up on your paper, please hold it up so we can switch it out and make sure that you have it. I think you're
Are you guys ready? Are you having a good day? Yeah. Let's get this started. Round of applause. Great, that's not good enough. I want you to go like this. I want you to get ready to clap hard. And you better clap from the side up. You ready? Thank you. We got a board of directors. They held the Coatesville Youth Initiative. Thank you to the board. Dr. Milden, you love them? From the Coatesville Youth Initiative. Thank you to the staff. You're the loudest one for yourselves. Thank you for being here. I love it. All right, I'm going to give you some brief instructions. You ready? I'll wait. So here's what's going to happen. Next spring, the Coatesville Youth Initiative is bringing together adults in a similar kind of convening. And what they want to do is tell those adults what's on your mind, what they can do. So this is your chance to get all your ideas down. So I'm going to ask you a question. In each section, on each half of the table, write down this question. This is your chance to get your ideas down, talk to each other about them, and make sure what you want to be heard is heard. If you have a great idea and you don't write it down, it's not going to get passed on to those adults. You got it? So try to write legibly. You ready for the first question? I'm going to ask you these couple questions and you're going to move around. Ready? Here's the question. Is everyone ready? We got this corner over here not ready. First question. What do you want adults in your life to know? Talk to each other about it. Write down your ideas.
Speaking on my behalf, because I'm my own person and I can speak for myself.
Nice. Anyone else relate to that? You got applause?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
What else did you write down? Or what else did you see that you liked?
I wanted to ask you
what kind of questions? Questions how you're feeling. Everyone hear that? Everyone like that idea too? Yes. What else did you see? Over here, Jack. Hang on 1 second. We need everyone to be quiet and show respect to each other. That's what we do as leaders, right? I talked a lot about listening. This is the moment to listen. It's a real opportunity. Everyone with me on that? Okay. Can you say that one more time? We can hear you over here.
Defending ourselves is not a form of disrespect for talking back. Because, like, if a teacher is being rude to you, you're not, like, going to sit there and listen to them. So you have to say something back. Or you're just, like, letting them beat you up by, like,
Nice. Thank you for that. You guys can relate to that? Give a round of applause so you can relate to that. Well, that's what I need to share. Hey, come back and leave. Doesn't matter. We got an idea over here.
Can I get some respect, please? Thank you. So being open-minded is like basically asking about the problem instead of just giving out authority. Like act like a friend, basically.
Act like a friend. Respect, right?
So excited about the success of our first annual Coatesville Youth Conference. It's been amazing to see all the smiling faces from this morning being shy to this afternoon being so excited about what they've learned today. And we as a Coatesville Youth Initiative will just continue to push to make sure that our young people are prepared to be the leaders of tomorrow and that the adults are ready to receive them and be the support that they need. So thank you so much for all of the volunteers. Thank you so much to all of the young people. Thank you so much for all the youth groups that made it possible for our young people to be here today to get excited about their lives.